Hi there, I am Stacy Phillips, and I am so excited to kick off season 1 of my podcast, Stacy Phillips and Friends, or as we like to say, keeping it real with non-housewives. No slight to real housewives, we really love you. Everybody needs a housewife in their life. Each week we will step into my wardrobe, literally one of my closets, where one of my nearest and dearest friends and confidants will fill this chair next to me as my co-host to chat a little bit about life and a lot about women empowering women. Together, we will have a gap session with just us gal pals, a deep dive for the dish, a convo among co-eds, and then our big feature presentation, the special guest interview, or what I call the SGI. But first, move over, Andy Cohen, with your mazel of the day, because at Stacy Phillips and Friends, we will bump it up a notch or 3 as we Kibbitz, Kvetch, and Kvell, the best 5 minutes of commenting, complaining, and crowing. And because I am a divorce attorney, my producer, George, will drop in to spend a few minutes of each show talking about a high-profile relationship in the news. So welcome to Stacy Phillips and Friends. Let's keep it real. Hi again, I'm Stacy, and welcome to Stacy Phillips and Friends, or as we like to say, keeping it real with non-housewives. My co-host today is my dear friend, bestie, actually, Monet Berger. Monet, say hi.
Hi, guys.
So what can I say about Monet? Well, you can see she's stunningly beautiful, but that's the outside. She's stunningly beautiful inside. She has a really cool history, and she's really killing it as a realtor to the stars in Beverly Hills and beyond. So she'll tell you about that at some point. And she certainly knows relationships. She's been through that. And hello, she's sitting next to me, so I don't hang out with people who don't have depth to them. So why are we in my closet? So back in the day, I had a group of besties. We called ourselves the Heart Sisters. And when we wanted to talk about something that was really intense or needed our attention, we would go to my closet. Literally, we would go sit on the floor in my closet. And then somebody would pull something off the shelf and say, or the hanger, and say, okay, can I borrow this? So with that in mind, I want to give a plug today for 3 of my dear friends who have left the more corporate business world, 2 of them, and one is a doctor, and started their own fashion lines. If you look around my closet, you'll see pink boxes and you'll see black boxes, and then you'll see clothes hanging. So one is Audrey McLaughlin, Frank and Eileen, sweats here, pants here, love her cotton shirts and her sweaters. And then Jennifer Shamandi, I happen to be wearing one of her shoes today.
Rare.
Check this out. They're gorgeous. I have quite a collection that I buy from her that she already makes, and others, they're bespoke she makes for me. She was in the finance world and left it to be in the fashion world. God bless her. And then one of my closest friends, Taryn Rose, who was an orthopedic surgeon and decided that professional women needed to have shoes that were stylish and good for them. So, and she'll be a co-host with me soon. And so you get to hear about that. So I wear these clothes and I wear these shoes. So what's some of your favorite designers?
Well, I have been wearing a lot of vintage lately, actually. So for me, vintage is like maybe 30 years. I know it's supposed to be 50, but I'm going back in the archives and I'm wearing a lot of my old Prada because it just seems so much more special than wearing what everyone else is wearing at the same time. So I'm really kind of loving all of those rare pieces and just putting them with jeans and a t-shirt. And there's so many great new denim lines, and I'm just packing for a trip, and Frank and Eileen was one of the items. I did pack a lot of their pants and t-shirts because they're great to travel with. And they're super easy and comfortable for the plane or after. So that's also a very fun brand.
Go, Audrey.
Yeah.
Yes, you're leaving for Paris tonight.
Tonight, yeah.
Wow.
From Stacy to Paris.
And with your boyfriend.
Yes. It should be a very, very lovely, lovely week. And then I'm meeting one of my besties in Paris for 3 nights of girl time.
Well, they say Paris is the most romantic city in the world.
I will report back.
Okay, I guess it's time for Kibbitz, Kvetch, and Kvell. You know, I want to be positive today. So what do you want to Kvell about?
Let's see. I just got an amazing listing of a compound, 2 houses next to each other. Probably will be sold separately, but it was a very big coup. So I'm very proud about that.
You go, girl.
Personally.
And by the way, I guess I should explain. Kibbitz is to chatter, to gossip. Kvetch is to complain. And Kvell is to, as my dad would say, bust your buttons. So I'm in a very positive mood today.
Love
So
it.
I only want to talk about things positive.
I agree.
And kudos to you. That is a big deal since you've been doing this for 8 years. And it often takes people a lot longer than that to get the big listings. But you're you.
Thank you. I love it. Love it.
And I remember when you were studying to be a real estate broker.
Yep.
Wow.
That also seems
Monet
like 50
Burger,
years.
everybody.
Thank you.
Okay, do I hear the sound of crying or is it laughing? Better turn the sound up because it's time for da-da-da-da-da, relationship roundup. It's not every day you get a divorce attorney and a realtor to the stars in the room together. So, Monet, whose relationship would you like to talk about this week?
Well, I mean, he is the man, and he's quite handsome.
Oh, God, yes.
He's a little swoony, so I think we should go with Kevin Costner.
Oh, yes, he is.
Swoon, swoon, swoon.
Yeah. I have visualizations of movies of him. Yes. So, poor thing. Had a long-term relationship, marriage with children, his second one. And
he's trying. He keeps trying. But positive.
But this one was in the courts. This first one, I don't remember being in the courts. And since I'm a divorce lawyer, I actually focus on these things. So the moral of the story, I think, is if you sign a prenuptial agreement that says you need to move out of the house, you need to move out of the house. And if you want to stay in the house, at least try and negotiate nicely as opposed to dragging it out in court. But I'm a believer in trying to resolve issues. And by the way, I'm not involved in that case, so there may be things that I don't know about because all I know about is what's in the media. And there was a big fight over child support and spousal support. And I just wish people would resolve things themselves. It's so much better for their family. So that's my plug for the day. It's, try to work it out. I make more money if we fight in court. I don't like to do that. I do it. It's exciting to me. It's intellectually stimulating. But I really believe that people can do their best by working it out.
Yep. Also, just to jump in here with my little gossip, I heard that he was actually spotted recently with the singer Jewel.
Oh, cool.
Oh, but
Good
all
for
the
him.
single ladies now are going to be disappointed. He was like,
Girls like Kevin Costner? Is he like a...
They do.
He's handsome.
I
Have you
think
not
he's
seen
adorable.
Yellowstone?
No.
Oh, dear. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I think that was it.
He's a hunk.
The movie Inside Out,
Yeah.
No Way Out, where he played a mole. And there was one scene where a mole,
Like
he was a spy.
spy.
Okay, I thought you meant like an actual...
No, and he was wearing jeans and topsiders and a polo shirt, and he jumped into a convertible. And oh my God.
You love that.
Oh, yeah. That's my vibe.
Love for it.
Yeah, that's
She's
my
got
vibe.
the preppy vibe, and
Yeah.
I'm more yellow, so I'm like cowboy hat,
Yeah.
boots.
Oh, I like that too.
jeans,
I like it
you
too.
know.
Yeah.
It's like that
I just don't
rugged
like
kind of-
scruff.
Yeah.
That's not my vibe.
I guess
No.
I'm not.
No.
You're not scruffy, hon.
Oh.
You're once a week you get your hair.
Yeah, but
Clipped.
does this not qualify as scruff? What is this?
No,
Beard?
that's a beard.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've surpassed scruff.
No, you're
It's
not
a very
scruff.
well-maintained beard.
She's well groomed.
Yeah.
Yes.
Once a week.
Dances with Wolves is natural. Which one?
Dances with Wolves or The Natural? Which movie? Or actually, which version of Kevin?
Mm.
The natural.
The Natural. Okay.
Dances with Wolves.
That's what makes horse races.
Field of Dreams.
Field of Dreams. If you build it, they will
The
come.
Bodyguard.
Yeah.
Oh.
Bodyguard, number one.
That's
The
the
one.
Bodyguard.
That's the
Okay, that makes you really cry.
Yeah.
That's a heartbreaker.
Cool. Well, good luck, Kevin.
Kevin, my
for-
number is. No, just kidding. If you're
Sorry,
watching-
Jeremy. So that's the sound that it's time for our special guest interview, SGI. It's my favorite part of the show. This week, we are really excited to spend time with not one, but two amazing, inspiring women. I'm delighted to introduce our guest, Taylor Armstrong, an original Beverly Hills housewife and more recently seen on the OC Housewives franchise, and Gemma Touchstone, an entrepreneur, celebrity author, party planning guru, and now talk show co-host with Taylor. Woohoo! And next to me is Monet Burger, my dear friend, real estate broker to the stars.
I love it.
So, So Taylor is not just a TV personality. She's an author of Hiding from Reality, a book that covers her fame and tragedy, which let her tell you about. And Gemma is also a best-selling author of Party Style, turning her successful party design business into a how-to guide.
That is
together. Their new talk show, which launched in late May this year, is called The Naked Truth, TNT for short.
That's
TNT airs on iHeartRadio. So kudos to you, gals. So proud of you for your success individually and now together. But, well, we want to learn more about your show. So before we do that, welcome to my closet. You're literally in my closet.
If
you
love
can
it.
see around, you can see clothes. Some of my favorite designers. And I don't know how you guys are pulling this off. How are you going to be doing your talk show launch tour and manage all the other things in your life? We're a little older than you are, and that's a lot to do.
Well,
but first, tell us about The Naked Truth.
Well, The Naked Truth, I guess a lot of the fun and what makes it easy is because Gemma and I are such good friends. And so it's a lot about us just hanging out, which we would be doing anyway, and going places and doing fun things. We have a lot of out of the studio things planned, but it took us a bit to find the exact look we wanted for our studio. And so here it is, a little preview of where we sit and talk to each other. And we have an amazing crew around us. And we just wanted it to be much more of a talk show format. And so that was a bit in the making, but even more fun, we're doing Margarita Mondays once a month where we go out to different Mexican restaurants and try different types of margaritas.
Coffee Talk
Tuesday once a month. And yeah, you girls need to come with us. And so we're out and about.
Yes, we want to be on your show.
Yes, for sure. And we're going to do cocktails in the Cove and take these awesome electric boats to the different coves in Newport. So it's just,
we have some fun stuff.
It's us hanging out. And a lot of my friends over the years are such interesting people. I've had some incredible friends on that Gemma's gotten to become good friends with too. One of my friends who is just a badass, and she has climbed all 7 summits, and she's also an aerospace engineer and has worked on the F-35 fighter jet. So I feel like she's a pretty good interview, and a lot of other just really cool, fun people. So we're just chatting it up with a lot of
digging in and getting to the truth.
That's right.
What motivates you? What makes you tick? And what's, I think, at the end, I think we want to empower people through realizing their own truth, and that no matter what that truth is, we all affect each other in a really interesting way. Everybody you meet is a door to a new story.
And the truth will set you free.
Yeah. It's true.
Well, it sounds like you've figured this out, and at a young age. Kudos to you.
Yeah. We're young.
I don't know about young. I don't know. Hey, listen, it wasn't that easy figuring it out. Jim and I have a lot of history, similar history.
I was going to ask you about your history. How do you guys know? How do you gals know each other?
Actually, we met through a former Orange County housewife that she's known forever, and I've known forever, Lynn Curtin. So that's kind of an interesting connection.
Yeah.
But Jim and I both experienced domestic abuse, as you mentioned earlier, hiding from reality. And I told my story, and I know that you're familiar, very familiar. And so we both experienced that, and we both had the loss of a husband. So we definitely share a lot of emotional bonds and connected so quickly on all those
I feel like we
levels.
realize that it's also how you end up in places and the choices you make. I think we have very similar personalities, and we've learned some of the same lessons already, in our life. So when we met, it was weird. It was oh my God, I feel like I've known you forever. Yeah. And so that's it. Now our husbands are going crazy because we're on the phone 5 hours a night planning shows and what to talk about.
Exactly.
Well, coming through domestic violence, that's a big deal. As a divorce lawyer, I spend a lot of time in court dealing with domestic violence. And I co-wrote a statute that extended the statute of limitations, meaning the time that you can sue your abuser. I take it very seriously.
Oh my God.
And what is
only
that now?
good thing about OJ, it's several years as opposed to one. It really wasn't looked on. And the only good thing about OJ is because of what happened, the senators and the assembly people paid attention to us because we were languishing until that happened. And it's really important. The family law rules are much broader than your basic rules. And in California now, you can be found guilty of domestic violence if you interfere with one's emotional calm. And that can be including coercive control, like restricting somebody's finances
Mhm.
or saying horrible things to them or sending horrible texts or horrible emails. It's not just physical.
Yeah.
I have
So-
chills, literally, because I've
And
experienced
people go through that.
all
all
of
of
the
the
things.
above. And financial abuse was one of the worst parts for me. And one of the pieces I think that people were so confused about, that a Beverly Hills housewife can be abused. Because when you look at the
Oh,
Golden
absolutely.
Gates and you
Yeah.
just believe that it only happens in difficult socioeconomic climates. And, as you know more than anyone, it happens all
Everywhere.
over, everywhere, genders,
And
religion.
OJ showed that. I mean,
Absolutely.
that's
And I
the-
worked with
the one good
Denise.
thing.
I worked with Denise Brown Simpson and have done some public speaking for them. And they're an amazing family, and everything they've done to further the cause of protecting victims. And it's so important that you share your story and your power, because so many victims, when I visit shelters all over the world, and women constantly tell me they were afraid to leave because they were afraid of the financial disparity, and how were they going to protect themselves in the legal system when their abuser has all the financial control.
Yeah, and you feel
And-
like you
Yes.
can't leave.
And you don't know that there are people that can provide these amazing social services and level the playing field for you to leave, and all of the resources that are available. So thank you for talking about it so
Yeah.
much.
It's
And
so
coercive
complex.
control, it is very
It's so
complex.
complex.
And you think that they're going to turn the corner. It's called learned hopefulness as opposed to learned helplessness. You thought it was going to change. They make promises. You
Sometimes
believe it's
hope
going
is
to
the worst
change. You don't want
thing
to
to have.
put your kids at risk, but you don't really understand it, I believe, until you get out.
Right.
100%. And Jim
Oh,
and I,
no. And years later,
we were
sometimes
just
years
talking
later.
about this. Yes,
Yeah.
when I do, as I speak and tell my story now, when I'm telling it, I feel like I'm telling a story about someone who's was never even me, because it's so unfathomable to
It's
me
like a
that I
movie
lived
you
it.
watched.
It was like a movie that I watched. And
Yeah.
I talked to my psychiatrist, Dr. Charlie Sophie, about it a few years ago. And I said, is that because I'm compartmentalizing? And he said, no, it's because you're over it. And you're able to now look at it from up here, as opposed to feeling like you're still
Like
in
you're
it.
in it. It's a difficult
yes.
situation. And this is very common.
You look back and you go, WTF, what was I thinking? But at the
100%.
time, you can't get out.
You made such a great
it's-
point, though, about children, because when you're living with a maniac, the last thing I could imagine was letting my little girl have custody and visitation
and
with
the
him.
whole thing. Yeah. So you feel like it's better if you'd stay.
Like,
Yeah.
I'd rather take it than take
'Cause
any
you can
chance of
protect
her
them.
taking.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because you can protect them. But you know, when you get on an airplane and they say you got to put the mask on yourself first,
Yeah.
think of
They
that
say that.
analogy. In order to help your kids,
hard.
you got to take care of yourself and get yourself out and get them out.
I'm
This
going to
is
add
a
that. to my-
whole nother show.
Yeah. That's
Yeah, I'm
We could spend
definitely
all
adding
day on
that.
this.
And we'll be happy to
So-
talk about it anytime, anywhere.
Yeah.
We'll go have
Anytime,
Margarita Mondays and talk all about it.
And some ideas for
So-
some new legislation also
Yes.
that we've been talking about.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, do you want to tell us more about The Naked Truth, or Gemma, do you want to tell us about your book?
Well, we're both working on new books right now. So she has like almost like a sequel to the other one, but definitely more upbeat about like setting boundaries, healthy boundaries, relationships, things like that, how to recognize your triggers. And that's your book. I don't know why I'm talking about your book, but I'm more excited about it. My book is The 4 Keys, and it's the 4 keys to anything in life, and how you obtain that. And also, I referenced just a little bit about like how personal stories and how you get to that point of being self-confident and aware of your surroundings.
That's what the 4 keys are?
No, I can't tell you what the 4 keys are until the book comes out.
I know, but when it
Oh,
does,
What about
we're
one
definitely
key?
there.
One
The
key?
4 keys to everything.
Also, we're working on this project that kind of is all encompassing to you ladies as well. We'd love to get you involved in it. It's called Empowered Experts, and it's a team of women that are empowering people. It doesn't have to just be women, but in all different walks of life. For instance, we would love to have someone who could speak on legal issues for women,
Yes.
but also I'm
in.
I love
Yeah.
it. And relationship equality. I speak a lot at universities about red flags and date rape and all those signs, control, jealousy. And so that's
Triggers.
triggers. That's
Yeah.
more my expertise. And then we have another woman who's how to start your own business as a woman and what are the opportunities that are there for minority business owners. And so it's just a whole group.
It's cool.
It's cool. It's really
so cool. And it
Empowered
is about
experts.
empowered experts. And you have to be in your field for at least 10 years to even qualify as one of the experts. And then you usually have a book that's published by a publishing house or something of the sort. Yeah.
And we're going to do retreats and we're talking to a couple of cruise lines about doing an empowerment cruise,
We're
which is
super
going to
excited
be,
about.
it's going to be super fun and empowering at the same time.
Yeah. Right.
So interesting. I wrote a book called Divorce is All About Control, How to Win the Emotional, Psychological, and Legal Wars. And in it, I describe how if you go on a first date with a guy and he orders your food, doesn't ask you what you want, orders your food. Some people say, oh, that's so romantic. Run as fast as you can. Or he buys you a dress he'd love you to wear, like after a first or second date. Run as fast as you can, because that is an incredibly controlling individual.
You're giving me chills like
Right,
7
I know.
times.
I'm like,
Every
oh,
single thing
gosh.
you say.
We
Because,
should-
and I'll tell you, for me, it was the knight in shining armor effect, like what you're talking about. Like, oh, that's so, what a gentleman. He's going to order my food. And he brought me this dress. And I had a textile company when I first met my abuser. And he said, I don't want you to work. You shouldn't have to work. You should sell your company and just stay home and enjoy life. And you should be a mother. You have so much love to give. And slowly but surely
For some reason,
now
you feel
I
like
have a
it's
baby,
good.
no job. He has all the control. He's telling me how to wear my hair. So, didn't get to pick this one.
You didn't get to pick this one.
And when you got divorced,
it
did he then say that you should have been earning a living and he didn't want to pay you spousal support?
Oh my gosh, that's a good spin, right?
Yeah. My former husband, after he hit me the last time, he fractured my orbital floor. I have a titanium implant holding up my right eye. And after that happened, I finally decided to file for divorce because for me, it took 6 years and radiographic evidence and the need for ocular plastic surgery to go, maybe I am in an abusive relationship and I can't talk myself out of this any longer. And so I filed for divorce. And then about 1 month later, I found him hanging. So I didn't have to deal with spousal support. I had to deal with the aftermath of all of that with a 5-year-old little girl.
Which is
so
totally
sorry.
a whole new ball game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, with the financial control piece that you're speaking about, because I had no access, I had a black card. I could spend whatever I wanted because it was his way of saying, oh, you have everything you want. And also he could pull up the Amex and track every single place I'd been, but he wouldn't give me access to any cash. And so then when he died, all that financial control really came crashing down on me because I had no access to any of the assets. So I had to hire an entire law firm to try and seek all the bank accounts and get me access to everything.
No planning.
Because there was no planning. He was never going to let me have an exit plan.
That's another thing, legal planning.
Wow.
Like, it's just crazy to not know.
And we
It's years to sort
You
out.
guys, and Gemma, you said you experienced something similar, so my heart goes out to both of you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, it was crazy. Well, my husband ended up doing drugs and was more abusive and ended up dying from a drug overdose, which is almost a form of suicide as well. Right. Like everybody has all these needs, in the end. And it's really hard. The whole cycle of abuse is hard, especially when you have children, because you still have love for your abuser. Right. And it's like, it goes on and on. How Taylor overcame that on television when they continue to bring it up. It's like in syndication, like every day. So not only her, but also Kennedy can't ever 100% move on. Right. Because it's like a whole public opinion of it. It's like, it's definitely hard. So I think by the fact that she's been able to convert that into speaking and helping other women, with that issue is totally incredible. And people they have to listen to it. They have to understand, people have opinions. You know how people are hopeful? We naturally want to be hopeful. I mean, it's literally born, I think, in every human being's DNA to want to see the good or to be hopeful, right? In our government, in our children, in our spouses, you think they're going to change. You think it's going to be okay. You know what I mean? So you stick with it. But sometimes things are just bad. And when you tell somebody that you're being abused, sometimes people don't take it seriously, like in your family, your friends, somebody knows it's going on. And really, people need that person to say, yeah, I'm here for you. I'm going to help you. It's okay that this is happening. You know, you don't have to be shamed for it, because you also feel like you're ashamed when you're in a situation like that because you're letting yourself down. You feel ashamed of yourself.
Well, I'm going to say something publicly for the first time. I have a theory behind that, which I'm talking about, which is, I call it 2 + 1. You have an addict.
Yeah.
Okay, you try to get the addict help. But at a certain point, the intervention needs to be on you, me. If my friends had sat me down, my family had sat me down and told me what they observed and what I was doing living with an alcoholic, it would have really hit me between the eyes, but I thought I could handle it all.
Yeah.
I thought I could manage it. And I look back and go, WTF.
Yeah.
But if your friends sat you down and said they recognized it and that they were there to help you get out, you might have pushed
Giving you
back
the support.
initially,
Yeah.
but you would have felt, oh my God, somebody really sees this, and then you would have done something. But
Yeah.
you're too ashamed, and nobody wants to
Trying to hide
infiltrate. That's exactly right.
it. You try to hide it, and
because you can handle it. You're a woman, you have children, you do what you can. That's what you do.
Do you think that a lot of friends feel like they might be alienated by you if you were to say, like, your husband's an asshole?
Well, if one friend says it to you, you'll push back. But if you have 6 people sit you down, you're going to have to listen.
Intervention.
Yeah.
Yep, an intervention on the spouse.
And it's almost
important.
more of a like questioning thing. If your friends sit you down, if
Yeah.
you're one of the friends, to go to the person who's being abused, say, how do you feel about this? So you can pose it more of a question,
Yeah.
so that they have to reply and they actually have to say it. And I think that's a super effective way to deal with any kind
And
of
it's not like
trauma
just
with
I love
person.
that
I
idea,
agree.
though, to
Yeah.
ask them and let it come from them without them, make it their own idea.
without you saying your husband's an asshole.
Because every
or, you
one
know,
of us,
do you think your husband's an asshole?
if
Kind
we
of is a better-
saw it with somebody else, we would say, okay, what is she crazy to stay in it? But you can't get out.
Yeah.
So if somebody says that to you and then you realize, oh my God, I mean, like, what am I doing? As I said before, you don't realize the enormity of it till you get out. But if your friends and family would get in to help you get out, I think would make a huge difference.
And we
I
always
think
talk
it makes
about
a
So that's my speech of the day.
Yeah, well,
That was my
exactly
biggest
what you're
problem.
saying is the exit strategy. So as we know, abuse is about control, and the minute most women leave on average about 7 times before they leave for the very last time.
You're exactly right.
And when you leave for the very last time is the most dangerous time, because that's when the controller has lost all control, and that's why an exit plan is so critically important.
And that's why the statute of limitations, because the greatest number of deaths from spousal abuse is the year after.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh.
And a murder-suicide in my
they
case.
lose hope.
Yeah. So often when suicide happens in a domestic violence situation, murder-suicide is unfortunately very, very common. And one of the reasons, to Gemma's point earlier, is that the reason I do tell my story is my life was spared and my daughter's life was spared, and he could have taken us out with him. And so I feel as though I was left here to share my story so that no one else, or very few people, will go through what I lived through and what we all lived through.
Right. And we want to keep it that way.
And as Monet knows, I'm a real believer in paying it forward. And that's what you're doing. You're paying it forward to try to help others
And this is becoming
not
more
to experience.
I think it's becoming more imperative with young people too, since we're so removed with a lot of screen time and lack of community. Like my kids are 22 and 24. I have a 16-year-old niece and a 4-year-old godson. And so when I look at the different ages and where they're coming from, whether they're digital natives or not, like their ability to relate to each other is different. So Taylor's like new program where she goes into schools and teaches them about emotional triggers and relationships, why you're making the choice, because the abuse could become more prevalent as kids aren't like growing up like in more physical when they're together, like the screen time is affecting people's ability. Yeah.
And if that's part of what they are observing.
Yeah, and they're seeing it.
Fabulous organization called Break the Cycle, because if you see abuse or addiction or alcoholism, you're more likely to accepted as part of
Normal.
your generation and the next one. Yeah.
Absolutely. And
So you got to break the cycle.
Yeah, you do.
Absolutely. And that is, unfortunately, my abuser came from a household with domestic abuse toward his mother, father to the mother. And my earliest childhood memory is my father beating my mother and my mother grabbing me and running out the door with me. And I remember exactly what I was wearing, blue zip-up pajamas with a teddy bear. I mean, at a very, very young age. And, when you have those kinds of traumatic experiences, the detail that I remember from being so young, but the fact that I had that in my childhood and my abuser had it, those statistics just go way up. And so breaking the cycle, to your point, is monumental.
We'll have to look up that organization.
Yes, for sure.
It started by a friend of mine. So let me ask you a question that we're asking all of our guests. If you were to do life differently and not do what you're doing now, what would you do?
We were going to do life differently.
Life differently today?
Yeah.
I would have
Professionally.
I would have a bed and breakfast in the Caribbean and have really cool people come and stay with me for like a week at a time and then leave.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. We'll come.
Yeah.
We're booking. We're booking.
The ultimate house guest. You get to have fun with them for a week and then they go home.
Right.
And Gemma, you?
I'd be working at the bed and breakfast.
I can't see you changing bed sheets. I'm sorry.
You be my co-owner.
I do the event planning.
Oh yeah, that's right.
You're
So
more
you
of the
can do event
planner. Yeah,
planning
you're
for the
more
bed and
like
breakfast.
fluffing it and making it look beautiful.
Right.
So people could, everything they do in the town where you are.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we just had this amazing launch party for The Naked Truth. It was just so over the top, and they wouldn't let me see it until day of. And
was
between Chabela events and Gemma, when I walked in, I was just blown away. And I don't know why I was so surprised, considering it's at the hands of this one,
Oh,
but
so
it was incredible. We'll have to send you some footage.
Yeah. It was
Oh, that'd be fabulous.
Fun.
Yes.
So you have a high-end real estate broker. You have a divorce lawyer. What question do you want to ask us?
Well, what would you do if you weren't doing what you're doing now?
Oh, back at you? For me, I'd probably be a psychologist.
Yeah.
But I do that for a living as being a divorce lawyer.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I just would have been less pressure. I mean, what I do for a living is really, really hard.
Yeah.
Or if I would be a talk show host like Barbara Walters.
Yes, ma'am.
That's what you're going to be
I'm
right
still
now.
aspiring to that.
Yeah.
That's why I'm doing
I
this.
see it. I see her as an empowered expert.
I do. You are both an empowered expert, whether you want to be or not. It's happening.
Yeah, right?
But I think that
Monet, what would you be doing?
Do you take your work home with you, though? I don't know how you can walk away from listening to all these stories about divorce and not go home feeling the weight of the world and other people's emotions.
It's really tough, and I'm not effective if I don't distance myself, but it's really hard for me to do that. So what my strength is also my weakness. Hard to sleep sometimes. It's tough. It's really tough, which is why I'm doing this.
That's fun.
It's fun.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's fun.
what's
Yeah.
your answer? What are you going to do? What would you be doing today?
This is going to sound a little strange, but I do love the art of negotiation because of what I do, and I would love to be a hostage negotiator.
Oh my gosh,
Wow.
that's
That
a
is
good
so
one.
Cool. That's very cool.
So you're going
Very,
to work for the FBI.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I might already be working for the FBI.
Ooh.
You do know there's a Citizens Academy for the FBI, which I need to tell you about because several of my friends who've gone through it. Very, very,
Interesting.
very cool.
That is cool.
Okay, now you guys picked
Stay
things that are
tuned.
like super cerebral, and I picked a bed and breakfast in the Caribbean. I think that says
And I'm
volumes.
like, I'd
Well,
like
we're
to
going
be
to
the
come
baker.
to the bed and breakfast.
So,
At the bed
yeah,
and
you
breakfast.
guys
I
are
feel
really,
like
really
I
cool.
went to. I was
I
like,
feel
wow,
like-
these women are incredible.
I know.
I'm like, what? I'm like, she come up with like incredible answers.
I know. I feel like girls just want to have fun, so just be our theme song over here, and you
Yeah.
guys should have some like really super smart song, Rocket Man or something great. I don't know.
I was
Well,
even
we
exactly-
also know how to have fun, and we're both very interested in fashion.
Oh, that's
yes.
good.
Then we
Right?
definitely are
How
gonna
we
have
met.
fun.
That's why you're in
Yep.
my closet.
Yeah, but you
That's
didn't.
so cool.
You didn't say fashion designer though.
Oh, not yet. Why don't you want to
Why
be a
not?
fashion designer?
Because I don't have that kind of talent, but I have said to anybody who will listen that every fashion designer needs to have a real person, not just a model,
Right.
testing their clothes
Right.
because we're normal people. We have normal bodies. We're not 6 foot tall and 90 pounds. Hello.
I know,
We
right?
have boobs. Hello.
Well, I'm actually working
So
on
that I'd be happy to do.
I'm working on a clothing line, so you're gonna have to try it out and see what you think. It's called House of 1010.
Happy
Love
to do
that.
that.
Love that.
And look for an invite. We'll be invited to my home. I'm known for entertaining. I'm not a party planner, but I'm a party planner for my
Okay.
own.
Love
Yeah.
It's a fabulous party plan.
Yes, and
Well,
she
I'm
will be
at the
there.
party
So
and
stay
just like
tuned.
plan. So
I'll be
We're in.
negotiating the exit for everybody from the evening at the end.
Okay, I'm getting from our producers. Okay, that's the sound indicating our time's up for today.
got
That's a
it.
bummer.
I got
I'd
it.
like to thank you gals so much, Gemma Touchstone and Taylor Armstrong, and my wonderful co-host and bestie, Monet Berger. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And a very special thank you to all of you who have been spending time, some of your precious time with us at Stacy Phillips and Friends. You can watch us on my YouTube channel at Stacy Phillips or download the show on wherever you watch your podcasts. Very cool. I'm learning all about that now. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram. Yep, on Instagram at Stacy D. Phillips Esq, which means Esquire means lawyer, or connect on LinkedIn. So see you again, and remember, love will always be in fashion. Yes, stated by a divorce lawyer. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, gals.